Okay, real quick, this is just a cool way to start doing your level map. Since we're working with the third person prefab here in Unity, we can use this as our starter objects for our level design map. First, all you have to do is come up here to this gizmo, and we're going to press Y. It's kind of the green one there, and it'll give us top view. We need to make sure that fog is off, and then we can just zoom out a little bit. And that will give us like the basic structure, and then we can add different structures around it. You don't need to go out too far. It's really just an exercise. You don't want people running like hundreds of miles. Even just walking out this far would take you a little while. So let's do this. You can take a screenshot of it, or I use the snipping tool, which comes with Windows, I think. If not, you should install it. It's good. And I just take a screenshot of that. Okay, I got my screenshot. Now I can close this. And we can go back here. And I don't need to come back in here for a little bit, so I can close down Unity. And I want to open up Photoshop. Of course, it'll probably open up in the other window. There's Photoshop. And I want to open that file I just saved, which is on my desktop. There it is. And now, so I can use this to create my map. So obviously this would be the center of what we're talking about. And then move my tools over here so I can see. I don't know how they got undocked. There's lots of ways. I mean, you don't need to do anything super exciting. You can draw a blob over here and like, okay, I want to go from here, and then this is the secret base, and then over here is the old temple, and then back here, back here is the crypt. And you can use shape tools if you want, like, oh wait, I want it to be a perfectly square. A perfectly square area behind there, but these need to be kind of globular because they're not perfect. And then you can even just create a new layer and say, okay, and I want one over here. Of course, it keeps defaulting to this red outlined one, which is fun. I have to change it up here. Film. No, it should not do that. That's okay. One here. I'm going to create a couple more by just hitting Control C, Control V, and then I can scale them. However, how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need one more. We need 7 points of interest. Just duplicate that. Okay, so there's my 7 points of interest. And I want to have from the central pad. The central pad is kind of in the engine. What you're be making here, you can actually take this here and copy it and go paste, 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 paste. But I want all these pieces to be within proportion of, I want them to be exactly this distance. What I'm trying to do is get these things on a map exactly the amount of distance away from this in engine that they are here. And there's several ways of doing this. I can bring it into a map, and I can bring the map in the engine and go, okay, well, if this box is this big, then this is this distance here, and then this one is this distance here, I could create a giant landscape, and then spray, I could make marks on the terrain with either paint or raised texture and identify these places. But what I think, what I'd like you to do is we're going to create a mesh, and then we're going to import that mesh into the game, and it should just work. So we're going to just save this as a picture right now, and then we'll bring it into Maya and then use that to create our mesh. So I'll do that right now. I'm going to save this as a JPEG. Okay, here you see we have, I'm in Maya now, and there are lots of ways to bring that picture in here, but probably the easiest way is just to create a plane. It doesn't matter how many bisections it has. Then we're going to apply material to it, and then that material we're going to call level map. And then we're going to go get the image that we just created. And ours is called level map 1. There it is, the black bits on it. We'll apply it to that. And then as long as this is a square and this is a square, and they both are, it'll come in with proper proportions from one to the other. And then we can look at it. And so I'm going to now, I don't want to accidentally select this a bunch of times. So I'm going to come over here in the channels editor portion and create a new layer. This is a display and selection layer used for making sure you can't select things on accident. So I'm going to add, with this selected, I'm going to go add selected objects, and now it's part of that. I can make it invisible, or I can put it here to R, which is reference. So nothing is selectable. I can move that. T is template, so I just see the wireframe, and R is reference, meaning I can't select it on accident. So now what I need to do is create some geometry, because I want to bring the geometry into Unity. So go to poly modeling, and I'm just going to create a small a polygon, and I'm going to mimic what's in there now, and later on we can take that out or something. It doesn't when we're all done with this. It's nice to have it in there because then we can match this up exactly. So I'm going to go to a top view, and I'm going to go view here, and I'm going to go shading. Sorry, I'm going to go X-ray so I can see inside of that. And then I'm just going to move these vertexes so that it matches that object. And then I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to put a different one over all of these, although I want to make sure that it has some depth to it. Because it'll need to stick out of the ground a little bit when it's in the game. And I want to make sure they're all the same height, but we'll do that in a second. All right, copy that one here. Copy this one here. Stretch that out so it fits. And these are just going to be foundations, right? Like giant cement slabs. So it doesn't, the geometry of them doesn't really matter. They're really just kind of placeholders for inside the engine, so you can see where the heck you're putting things. All right, and then I'm gonna kind of create a cylinder here for this oval one, and then use the vertexes to kind of get close to this shape. If I was really into it, I could draw this shape out and then convert it. I can draw it with a spline tool and then convert it to a polygon, but this is just sort of an example, so I'm going to say that that's good enough. Like I said, if you want something really particular, you're going to have to work a little harder to get your shapes. All right, so that should be good. So now let's get everything, all of our shapes, on the same plane. I'm going to go to a side view and go into wireframe. Put that on the ground, using the 0, 0 once again as the ground. And you might have to zoom in so you can see some of these. It's really important that they're all just a little bit above the ground. It's less important how high they are. However, we can take all these now and make them a similar height. Especially these ones, which are huge. Okay. So now that we have all of our stuff and it's laid out to match the picture, we don't need this one anymore. We can get rid of it. We're not exporting that one. We're just exporting these. Now, with these, we can connect them via a sidewalk if you like, right? I can copy this. And connect these up like that. So now I have a sidewalk like that. I can do something like this. Just got to make sure that they're all on the ground like we did before. Doop. 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 All right, we make all this part of the same thing. Make sure that they're all the same height. Ugh. As our other ones here. This one's kind of high, huh? Great. Okay, so back to these. If you wanted to have like stepping stones, for instance, you could do this, and I can make several of these. And we can do this in Engine too, but just giving you an idea. So if this is a critical path, like we need to be able to get here, and this is a critical path. We need to get there, and then these two are less critical paths or something. Then we can work it out. So right now we have all these structures, and they're all the exact same height. We look at those in front. And they're all sitting on the ground plane, which is perfect. So now we want to go to perspective mode. I want to select all of them, and I'm going to combine them because it's easy to export this way. I'm going to delete the history and freeze them. So I call this ground. And then, actually not ground, I'm going to call this critical path. And it already has, I better put a material in it. Rendering. Path will be the material. I'll make them kind of blue so we can see them. Okay, file. Export selection as an FBX. Path. Great, and then we open up Unity again. Okay, now with Unity open, we go into environments, and we can go, we can just do that. We can do here. We'll create a new folder called meshes. Open that up. Import new asset. Go to the desktop and find that FBX we just made called crit path. There it is. Now we can drag that out here and scale it up. And you can see it's kind of sideways. So we want to rotate it exactly -90. -90. We can actually go to the top view again. And all we have to do is scale that middle bit so that it matches the square. All right, go back to perspective mode so you can see what we're doing. Find our character. There's our character. We want so we just barely above the ground. There you go. And now we can play, and we have our foundation over here to make something. I didn't put any, it's not, I didn't put any mesh collider on it, so we're running through it at the moment. But you can see how this would, this now gives you an exact layout of what you wanted to do. Here's the giant rocks we did. I guess we should pay more attention to scale. But here's that secret area, and then here is the kind of blobby area. And once again, these are just markers in your level. You can use these as the mesh platforms for them. Let's see. I get out of the game. I can select them, and it says it has a mesh collider. I'd have to go over here. Ambient physics and mesh collider. And now we should be able to run on top of it. Anyways, you can see that allows you to create the layout that you had intended to. The one we created on paper, wherever that one went. The one we created on paper is now visible in the engine as a mesh, so that we can build off that. So if a level designer gave us this, we'd be able to build according to their particular specifications and as per our original thing, with the original area as our anchor. We're then able to figure out where all these other bits are supposed to be and build. We can do all sorts of stuff to make those connect, but that's what I want you to do, is create a critical path on paper, and then transfer that into a physical path in Unity using a mesh. Good luck.